Officials from the Labour and Employment Department are in Tshwane today, and this is where they're targeting farmers in the Bronkhorstspruit area. They are checking for compliance with labour regulations. Some of the farms had previously been inspected and issued with enforcement notices. Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala is there and joins us now. Nqobile, it's been quite interesting really watching the progress of this particular team as they embark on these enforcement and oversight issues in various areas here in Gauteng. Bring us up to speed with the activities where you are today.
Well, at the moment, Iman, we've just entered the farm. It's a mushroom farm, and we understand that previously, and I understand this was in 2022, that they actually came to check the farm if it was in fact compliant with regards to the labour and to the employment and labour regulations. They then had come up with a report and asked that the farmer or the owner then change those certain things. So today, then they're doing an oversight, ensuring that most of that has been changed. But whilst they're doing an oversight here, we've got a team of also law enforcement as well as immigration that is inside the farm that's also ensuring that there's an inspection that's underway as we speak. I want to bring in now Chair to speak to us about those issues. Chair, if you can just give us an idea first about that report. What did you find previously?
As you know, that the committee in the 6th Parliament would have visited this farm. From the report, there were a number of areas that they looked at for compliance. Amongst those would be the workers, the conditions that they are under, whether it talks to ablution facilities and all that. So that was in June at the time. Of course, the issues that relates to basic conditions of employment, and that's why we've got teams now to look at whether there's compliance, whether it's UIF, whether it's compensation fund, whether in terms of structure from the point of occupational health and safety. All those matters will now be assessed. But of course, we do acknowledge that there was a team from the Labour Centre here that came in August this year. But of course, at the time they came, the focus was on one aspect, which would have been the basic conditions of employment. They didn't look at these other matters that emanated at the time that the portfolio committee came. So we thought we should really come, firstly to send the message that we do not just do work and then leave. We have to come back and see that there's compliance, but not just compliance, that this could then be sustained so that the employers can comply, but the workers' rights are also protected in the process. Right? So we are here to make that assessment. So at this point, we are still in the operational side of the farm. We will then still go and look at the conditions of the workers on the other side where they live, because they don't live on site. Of course, if you look at it, you would have seen that it's a multidisciplinary team, so which is very important from a committee point of view, that there will be limitations on what the Labour Department could do from a point of inspection. Other matters may need the Home Affairs side, especially issues of immigration, so that we are sure that people who are here documented and they are here properly, so they have work permits. We don't have illegal people. Of course, SAPS has got a role to play in case there may be matters that need law enforcement.
Chair, take me through some of the major issues that you're focusing on, because of course this is the return and you're ensuring that that compliance is being upheld.
Yes, like I said, would be having two teams once we are done with the operation. There will be the one that I would say looks at the administrative matters, which is the documentation and that people are paying what they are supposed to do. The national minimum wage is also met. Then there will be a team which mostly would have the MPs in particular to go and then look at the side of the living conditions of the workers, which also talks to their health in any way, right? So that's the focus, because at that time there was commitment that these matters would then be addressed after the portfolio committee would have left. But like I said, we already had the Labour Centre coming in to do one aspect of the basic conditions. And the feedback that they gave in the briefing was that they think that there's compliance in that regard. But in our view, it was that we shouldn't just take that word we should still come and satisfy ourselves that those matters are now addressed. And like I said, the real narrative here is that the compliance issue is not just about being punitive about it, is that it should also be educational, that indeed once you have been shown the gaps and you are able to fill those gaps and comply, then there will be no reason even in future to close your gates if there's any inspection. You'll actually be the willing one to invite the inspectors to come into work.
Chair, we've seen various industries being visited. How many of them have you been able to go back to?
With us from the point of the portfolio committee, this is the time that we are coming in because we are doing our oversight based on the Parliament program. So in Parliament, this is the week where we do oversight. So that's why we said we'll start from here. But just remember that the inspections necessarily are not done by parliamentarians on a day-to-day basis. And that is why the teams that do those inspections are here with us, is because they have been doing that, they've been going back. Like I'm saying, at least in this one in particular.
All right, thank you very much, Chair, for speaking to us. Well, Chair, of course, has to continue, Iman, with that inspection that's being done by the parliamentarians. As you can see behind me, that's continuing right there. But basically, this is a farm that focuses quite more on mushrooms, and they're just looking to ensure that there's compliance. You will note that everyone currently has everything that covers their hair, so safety and regulations being very important. The various teams in various end of this area just checking and ensuring that everything has been compliant upon based on the reports that was done by the portfolio committee, which was previously done, my understanding being in 2022, before the Labour Department within the area was able to come back in and check again in terms of compliance.
It's really great, I think, Nqobile, to see, people who are charged with such huge responsibilities in terms of oversight, leave Parliament and be in the field. And we've seen a lot of activity when it comes to the Labour and Employment Department especially. Thanks for the update. We'll check back with Nqobile a little bit later on.